Mr. Lynch, life's holiday forever. Good morning, Mr. Massimo, Mr. Simple, Mr. Massimo, Mr. Simple. Or simply, 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 or simply day. Yesterday, not today, Lynch, this is the last time, or last day that I should do the phone. Vatican means as Rapson means 97 years because tomorrow it will be as much for me. He said Mr. Lynch is at birthday and so before we become a focus some of life. Plus fact su terra pratica del zero indietro vedete birthday. It's January 19th, 2026 and it's a Monday in Naples. We are totally cloudy. It's totally cloudy. Sky not to see in general, also with light rain. And it's in fact this is not rain. And at the same time, also team is now if also with the wind light cold and heavy, but perhaps more cold and heavy, cold and heavy, and it's early afternoon 13 and there 13 and 32 minutes. 56 Fahrenheit 12 Celsius. This means it's really colder like this is period fact cold is classic adjective used for the winter period so reports of Fourier sequence because the effect change and Fourier last June 17 so che teoria per can Fourier the cosa se la some non io in fact they follow the mio no if they follow me doing was some I think body also like teoria per can so Fourier the cosa se the autumn now also for the winter come news last December 21 winter in winter so you decide 16 on 4 p.m. in Italy where as raps some number of bodies and body Chinese suppose did I'm sure I try to see the things for them but associates with that proposal perché riuscito to Chinese it's better non perhaps paradox io tutto for me e di adesso tu intenti collaboration sono spinga some di auto si fa con lo spinga su stuff for some CT8 for the auto once again ci soft sono stati sincera for decision to be da classica GT si vede di grigio, triste for me, questo film sempre include assolutamente complete. Better no, this video no because it's winter, it's cool, so it's going to be complete, but when I see the sentence absolutely incomplete, I'm referring what is referred to me. So this in particular for this video, because I perhaps particular for this video, because I don't feel cool, but I feel cool less than the other people, thanks to this practice, but to practice, I follow and in some years to show stuff cold, and when it comes to winter period, with the worst periods, I always I had a comment which is being with this practice, because in this case, I had this comment, or this comment, and in this case, the first part was the comment with an asterisk, so someone is interested to see the first part with an asterisk, or the first comment from this practice, where I don't know, for sure, the più, I think not, because in fact, I think the difficult for an I think yes, but no. This depends on them, I think 90-95% difficult. However, in general, for me, in some way, what's good? Instead about to scatto sotto way, absolutely, I can say it, I think, just for is it? Il bad, at least, it seems like me as I'm sure it. In Gary, I think at 30 servizi just before 56 Fahrenheit 12 Celsius. At important thing that don't see at 30 vedi. Just before vedi so. Adesso se le cortine sono, se le cortine se mi ripensi, adesso se le cortine sono, se le cortine già se mi ripensi, tanto mi scioglie, most perfect. Adesso suppose, infatti sono da se ne ripete di sky, però si è totally cloudy, white cloudy, but see more grey, miss grey than white, and in fact, according considering last trend, last 2 weeks, yes, 2-3 weeks. Consider according to the consumer sensations, so I think it's possible that I think it's most sure, or practically sure that later in late afternoon, because it's really afternoon, but became darker, big, and also that if you're rain, because I bit is reader light rain, but as recent times, when I'm giant, so waiters and so on, even if it's clear, it's going to come today, yeah. Band. So season, mitico quindi il numero di cortini di influence long flowers mix with imbalance season cortini se la strumma uguale magari things non abbiamo solo borsi per in particolare per su cortini was beautiful grey cortini beautiful print we mentioned that grip in the past from fact the su cortini non using solitamente si rida so si che sono una come siamo section should be pointed out first comment perhaps first comment one of them si rida come section e I don't feel any see da si ridi well from shot and me think of yes. See the green flowers, long flowers mixed between the plants. Or if not, even better, should be better when you shot the private first part of either which Verusha should you the weather scatter Sinja for this classic mythical room from this classic mythical win this classic mythical room because as well some of the resources the other mythical room, the other mythical window. Or from a broader perspective, also from this other practically is the shot similar to the classical shot of film for the previous curtain behavior curtain repeat for the beautiful pentagon benches, also for the first curtain only story about the reports the color the curtain, and if even if I don't remember exactly this, but surely the color curtain is still in cover image original and one day sono damage to But who is seeing these shots also related to the fact that perform the recent glory shoot and also the reason but one of the reasons che si measure analisi del test special sentence so che si usa for the sustain repeat beautiful pentagon benches but also the case for the first starting carrier routine if function is and remember exactly this and also see now see use it for the I'll see read use it for the new potential but repeat expression also the case for 5 times and is a little speech of sentences it is but also always better visible for me in its entirety in this shot but this spot is mythical legendary shot. Si ricorda che lo shooter from activism optimistic activism first days of last October it is important tool because important to subire is an activism in fact now I'll see red little special sentence for the continuous for it because so well so read to repeat once again but also always better visible for me its entity in this shot anticipanti mythical legend shot. And finally, from a mythical keyboard NGX 640 PG 625 also this is from this mythical legend shot.